and Meredith up and away in the Hill City. It's a fun non-conference toss-up, and Kyle, you feel like this Lynchburg team, 4-1 to start the year, is feeling pretty poised to keep making a run.
I think it's a Lynchburg team with the expectations are so high that you gotta feel good about where you're at. If you're the Lynchburg Hornets, you gotta feel good about a little Sunday after Thanksgiving matchup here. No leftovers. It's all main course, delicious basketball action.
Will you feel like the Hornets have found themselves a star with Audra Petty, who has continued to deliver double figures in every single game to start the year? She poses problems down low, also has that guard ability beyond the perimeter.
28 was the career high a week and a half ago, and then it was 21 versus Washington and Lee last weekend. First ODAC Player of the Week for Lynchburg since 2022. Those Old Dominion Athletic Conference Player of the Week awards. Audra Petty, I think she's going to win more of those. You can't take it for granted. But yeah, her skill set is so impressive.
Round one, they do suffer a loss against Washington and Lee, but there's a ton of reasons to be optimistic about this crew.
This Lynchburg team is really scoring points this year, Evan. Over the 65-point scored mark 4 times already, 4 out of the 5 ball games. They only did that 7 times last year. Yeah, there's more to the hoops game than just scoring points, but I think this is a Lynchburg team that can really fill it up this year. And the reigning
really started to climb.
And really, in that loss to Washington and Lee, the shooting numbers were not good. Not good three-point percentage from outside or really from the field. So maybe that is the one key thing to look for Lynchburg. How well do they shoot the basketball on any given night might determine their success.
Out-rebounding opponents has also been a big key to success. Out-rebounding the last 2 opponents by plus 15. That's a stat that Coach Nichols has really appreciated. But Kyle, going back to the scoring, you know that there are a lot of versatile attackers on this Hornets crew. Audra Petty, no different, as we just said, the reigning ODAC Player of the Week, and
won against a very good Washington. First player that she could get even more of those.
No doubt. And when we talked to Coach Nichols, she really said it's such a problem for opponents because Audra has the ability to be tall down low and to assert her dominance and size, but also the perimeter skills have really lended themselves to success as well. On the other side, Leanna Nose, who missed last year with a torn ACL, has come into the picture and delivered immediately for the Angels this season. The player to watch for Meredith, number 4, has been in a big spot. And Kyle, I mean, this is a very young team. They have a lot of newcomers, and you see the stats on your screen right now. Nose has been one of those main contributors.
It's really been fun to watch her, too, because she hasn't started 2 of the games. 2 starts, 2 games she's come off the bench. We'll see what the game plan for Leanna is today, but I'm very excited to watch her.
Coach Nichols and company trying to find a way to stop one of the main contributors from Meredith as Lynchburg looks for win number 5 in the Hill City. We'll be right back on the other side with lineups and Tip and Turner. We'll be back. Big welcome in on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network, and as we get, give us some keys to the...
Well, for Meredith, I think they've got to eliminate those second chance points. Lynchburg has been good on the glass. We know the Hornets have some size. Lynchburg can have Bree Spainhour for the whole game today if they want her. So Meredith is going to have to work hard on the rebounding, keep pace with the Hornets' depth. You and I just saw Meredith only 9 in uniform. That should be enough, but if Lynchburg wants to make this a track meet, how do your legs hold up? For the Hornets, their key is forced turnovers. Meredith has committed 30-plus turnovers in 3 games this year, so they can get a little sloppy with the basketball. Quality chances for Lynchburg as well. You and I pointed out in that Washington and Lee game, there was a lot of possessions with just one pass for Lynchburg. Not always ideal if you want presents itself early in the but don't be afraid to let that shot clock get under 10 seconds and really work that ball around and get quality looks.
Sometimes for young teams, you hear the word tempo and you think, okay, we need to shoot early in the clock. That's not necessarily the blueprint for Coach Nichols' squad, because you understand this is a team that can shoot well, but they also have a lot of performers who can find those quality looks. And Bree Spainhour, as you touched on, back in the starting lineup today for Lynchburg. That is a key piece to have down low as she recovered from her own ACL injury. You have 2 players in the starting lineups today on their respective squads that are rehabbing, and it's so good to see them getting back to the level they played at. You know, we talked to, on the other side, Coach Megan Ron. She said with Leanna Nose, it almost feels like she didn't miss a beat in rehabbing.
Yeah, it's so impressive what she has come out and really shot the three-pointers so good. 5 of 11. Next closest in threes is Molly Zuberg with 3 for 9 for Meredith. So we'll see how much the Avenging Angels rely on that triple today.
Selah Parker also into the lineup for Lynchburg, a new entry as they go down low immediately. Petty swarmed, and perhaps Meredith got the scouting report. Kaysen ready to connect from 3, no good, and the offensive rebound goes to Madison Hoffman, who puts the first points on the board.
One of our keys right there, Meredith has to do a better job of keeping Lynchburg off the glass. Looked like they were ready for Audra Petty there. Just see the immediate double, and Petty got the ball.
This time mid-range jumper won't fall. Rebound goes to Spainhour, who looks to push. Out to her senior counterpart, Kaysen. Connecting the dots down low. Look at the quick passing out to Petty, and misses front iron and out. Already, Kyle, you can kind of sense that track meet energy. It's the fact that this Lynchburg team knows they can run, and they also know that their opponents have that short bench in a game like today.
I think that's a sign of good coaching from Allison Nichols. She has given her team the game plan, and you're right, early on you already see it from the actions on the court. They understand that game plan.
A lot of defensive pressure. Now the ball goes outside. Meredith ready to work it around, but once again, scrappy hands. Mary Church going to try and hoist right at the free throw line. Pretty touch on the floater for 2.
Yeah, good penetration there. She's a first year from Salisbury, North Carolina, and a good touch to tie the game.
Spainhour isolated one-on-one, cleans the glass. That's a professional-looking move.
Footwork so good from Spainhour. That's been a trait her entire career, and it's only gotten better since she's gotten more and more games for Lynchburg. Should be game 75 played now in her career for the Hornets.
Got a hand on the pass, goes down low to Church, who runs at all sorts of traffic, but the foot of Hoffman gets the ball and it clips out of bounds. You know, Coach Nichols has talked about Bree's impact on this team and said, you know what, she's rehabbing, but this is no different from any other season. She normally misses it due to volleyball, and so getting to be at practice in November was a little bit of an anomaly.
Yeah, that's what's so interesting. It's 82 career volleyball games, now 75 basketball. Should add up to 157, but the math department might question my numbers there. Either way, Bree Spainhour spent a lot of time in a Hornets uniform. Nice dribble penetration there.
Hefty impact on one side. Meredith showing up a little bit of theirs, and the score is knotted up at 4. To get this one underway, here is Spainhour. Kicks back outside. Petty ready to fire. No good, but look at the offensive rebounding. Hornets so quick to get the basketball. Parker gets her hands back on it. Now the offense can reset, but not for long as Kaysen connects from deep.
Great possession there for Lynchburg. Actually starts with that Bree Spainhour dribble drive. She feels the double team, kicks it out, and then scrappy thereafter. Lynchburg by 3.
7-4 score early here in the Hill City. Meredith and Lynchburg a non-conference battle as the 3 misses everything. Hoffman the rebound. Looking at transition dishes down low, and it's out of bounds. Lynchburg very successful in this series. 10 wins to just 1 for Meredith. Came all the way back in the early 2000s. Last meeting was back in 2021. Lynchburg won that one by 22.
The Avenging Angels from Raleigh, North Carolina, so geographically not a bad matchup for either team at all.
Not at all, and two teams that really play most of their schedule in state. Meredith, the USA South opponent. 10 on the shot clock. Hoffman out wide. Kaysen again, the opposite corner. Can't find the rim, and the foul is called on Selah Parker.
I don't think you hate it if you're Coach Nichols there. Intensity from Selah Parker. It looked like the refs were letting the gals play a little bit for the first 3 minutes, but now you've seen a foul called, so you kind of figure out where the limit is with the officials there. I like the hustle.
We use the word track meet loosely to describe the style of Lynchburg's play. Well, Selah Parker knows it best, as she's on the track and field team here at Lynchburg, and hence the reason she's sometimes in there to rough it up early, plays with a lot of aggression. Pass cross court, Meredith doing well to find Nose in the corner, somehow banked it in. Doesn't matter, it's Sunday, she found the right spot.
Yeah, you got to call that in the pickup game, but for Nose, it does not matter here. And you can tell she's feisty and looks to be moving really well. Has the brace on the left knee, but I think she's got some bounce to her movement.
Sophomore from Fuquay Varina, North Carolina. Double figures in back-to-back games. Parker from the short corner, nice pass, inserted to Spainhour, just couldn't connect. Now Meredith looking for options up the court. Here's Mary Church. A team that has 7 freshmen, 5 freshman guards, and just 9 suited up today as Spainhour with the interception. Looking to go all the way and lost handle. It's a deflection. And here comes Natalie Poole, first substitution of the game for the Hornets, along with Taylor Brown.
Yeah, TB is really a force inside there, and then so you get a big and a guard in this first substitution pattern from Coach Nichols. See how this shapes up. Might run a play for Taylor Brown right here.
Looking down low, they go outside to Petty, who is ready to fire. Misses this time, but Natalie Poole immediately showing her impact. Now the Hornets perhaps going around the horn. Back out to Kaysen. Down low, here is Taylor Brown. The jump shot just off the mark. Brown had a double-double against NC Wesleyan earlier in the year. That was really a statement from what she has been able to do, especially in the offseason.
Yeah, I think she's a player that Coach Nichols really is going to rely on. Now, again, I know she didn't start. She can bring so much to the low block there, and she can move around in the high post as well. Good intensity defensively for Lynchburg. And Natalie Poole is one that, you can expect more from her, especially with Kate Littlejohn out. We hadn't even talked about Littlejohn's absence yet for Lynchburg, Evan, but she's typically at the controls for this Lynchburg offense, but the Hornets are going to have to do without her at least for another couple weeks.
That's right, fractured wrist as she's on the bench. Obviously a main contributor in that guard spot for Lynchburg, but they do have the depth. We talked about it from the outset. There's a nice tie-up from Natalie Poole as well, as Zuberg has to hoist. Can't get the 3 to fall. That was the 2 candidates for the tie-up. Jump ball stayed with Meredith. Kaysen dishes right to the perfect spot for Petty. No problem from just beyond the free throw line.
Yeah, beautiful there. Petty was still looking for something to go. That's always nice for the confidence. Get it right behind the nail, basically. Normal free throw depth there for Petty, and she knocked it home.
A combined 49 points in the last 2 games as the pass was interrupted by the net. Hornets off and running again. Kaysen, bounce down low. Extra one to the corner. Here's Poole. Fires and just clips the iron. You see how quickly this Lynchburg team wants to get to the perimeter as the tie-up stays with the Hornets under the bucket. Got to feel like this is the style that Coach Nichols would appreciate. A lot of run and gun early in this contest as we head to the media break. Hornets up by 2 in Turner Gymnasium. We'll be back in the Sunday afternoon. Kayla Terry enters the game and is ready to inbound. Stopped the case, took a nice few steps. Brown the mid-range from the short corner. There's the aggression on the other side. Okay. And Kyle, you know, I think the point of emphasis for the Avenging Angels, they understand this is a transition year with a lot of freshmen, but it's also building confidence against these tough opponents.
I think so, and I think Coach Ron, you know, really appreciates beefing up the non-conference schedule a little bit, because then maybe when you do get in your USA South play, you got a better chance against some of those conference opponents.
Full shot off the mark, but took a late tip off the Angels. Lynchburg has it under the bucket. This is definitely a tough way to start the season, as Meredith faced center in their first game. Lost by a hefty bunch as Poole's ready to fire from the other side, no good. Rebound, this time belonging to Jamie Bevins, a freshman from Fairfax. And the pass runs out of room on that far side. Already touched on the fact that, you know, it's really been an issue trying to protect that turnover ratio, 30 per game for the Angels.
Yeah, that's a number obviously Coach Ron would like to get down. I mean, if you look at Lynchburg, I think Lynchburg 17.6. So you understand all coaches are only going to be happy if there's 0 turnovers. But if you can just cut into those numbers a little bit for each team, I think obviously it gives you so much better chance to win ball games.
Terry kicks out to Petty, who thought about it. Takes a few dribbles on the drive, no good. Brown the offensive rebound. Gets 2 more second chance points. That's something that will really start to add up if you can't protect the boards early.
Yeah, Taylor Brown, so impressive there. Again, she's already got good size, but she's getting better with the timing and reading some of those rebounds as they come off. Scrappy defense here is going to lead to a Lynchburg foul. It's another one. I don't think you hate that foul if you're Coach Nichols early in the game as you kind of feel out the referees. 3 subs coming in for Lynchburg. We are already seeing part of what you and I talked about as far as Lynchburg's game plan. They're going to use depth on that bench and maybe just try to run Meredith out of the gym. Plus, it's still early in the year, Evan. It's still November basketball. You're still trying to figure out what you've got on that bench.
November basketball for one more game as the calendar turns tomorrow, but this is a Lynchburg team that has had one of its better starts in program history. Made a 4th substitution late as Caitlin Canada entered the game. Good ball movement for the Angels. Count it and 1. Mary Church found her spot in the paint and has a chance for a 3-point play.
I like how scrappy Meredith is. Really, there is a lot to like about this Avenging Angel ball club, and they're going to have to be scrappy because you can see, you know, 9 in uniform. They're a little bit undersized to Lynchburg, and we know Lynchburg's not the biggest team, so they're going to be in sort of a size deficit probably most of the games that they play. That's how you make up for that, is by being scrappy, being tougher, maybe make the game a little sloppy when you can.
Kayla Terry calling for the shooting foul. Bree Spainhour down low, one of the reasons they have size. Terry's 3-point chance won't fall. Caitlin Canada, the freshman, tried on the second opportunity. There's another freshman for the Hornets, and what is just a very young game in general. Both teams obviously looking towards this season for success, but it's more so what's on the horizon here in the next few seasons. Terry outside to Vandergrift, ready to fire. No good, just a tad long. Rebound belongs to Spainhour.
Lynchburg 1 for 11 from 3.
Vandergrift, second opportunity, runs into trouble. And the Avenging Angels only down 1. Lynchburg, as you said, 1 for 11 from 3-point range. Also 5 of 21 from the field. Meredith has just 8 field goal attempts as the pass is swatted away by Vandergrift.
Yeah, but they're 4 for 8 from the field, Meredith. So yeah, some of that is random, right? We haven't even played 8 full minutes of basketball yet, but some of it might be shot selection. Might be, if you're Lynchburg, do you try to get closer proximity, more paint touches, more paint looks? Could be the answer.
Traveling violation of Molly Zuberg, freshman from right at home in Raleigh, North Carolina. Of course, that's where Meredith College is. Team of the USA South that has really started to develop this culture under Coach Ron. She said, you know what, we spent a few years trying to pinpoint what the culture would look like. But in a class like this, one of the hardest working freshman classes she's seen, it's been an impressive sight as Spainhour's gone for the travel.
Yeah, your email conversation with Coach Ron, I thought it was great how she talked about this roster. To me, really embodies what we want from Meredith Avenging Angel basketball, starting to build a team that really resembles what she's looking for. And it will still take time. There's very few overnight successes in our game, but it seems like Meredith has got some great days ahead of her.
High arcing three from Baber, no good. The second chance opportunity right under the bucket. That is just one of those plays where you don't give up on it even after the shot. Meredith has propelled themselves into the lead. Let's see if they can hold it as the jumper from Jacobisi is no good.
Yeah, Lynchburg just a little cold with the shooting touch right now. You know, I said get it closer to the rim. Well, that was less than 5 feet away. Jacobisi just couldn't get it to go.
Of course, trying to iron out the kinks after going home for a few days for break as Baber's shot falls off the mark. Scram for it. Somehow Kayla Terry's off to the races. Another pass. Opportunity for Canada, no good. Wow, it just sounds like a broken record, but so many of these three-point shots haven't been bad attempts.
No, open look right there. That's one, you know, only one pass on that possession, but I think you like the look. Great individual defense there to get the ball back for Lynchburg, but Canada couldn't hold on to it. Well, she's a fun young player, you know, just a first year, moves well, got some length, I think 5'9", 5'10", yeah, from Buchanan, Virginia, James River High School, not too far from where my man Evan Gates grew up, but we don't want to make it about you.
Well, that was the rival school as I was a Lord Botetourt graduate, but I think we're all excited to have her here at Lynchburg. She was a 1,500-point scorer. How about 3 points for Molly Zuber? Southpaw stroke to add to the tally and make it a 4-point lead.
Avenging Angels got to feel great where they're at here with 20 left to go in the first.
Well, the fact that Lynchburg has 8 offensive rebounds and they force 7 turnovers, they're still trailing in this game. That goes to show the fight from the Angels, who have a final shot if they want it. Zuberg switches direction, still penetrating off to the corner. Baber's shot swatted to the bench. Spainhour climbed the ladder and just 0.3 of a second remain.
That's what she can do with her length and her speed. I don't even know that she was really trying to block it. It might have just been an ordinary closeout, but she's so quick and so long.
See if you have a chance to get the shot off. Won't matter as the ball is disrupted. Our score rests at 15-11. Meredith has come to the Hill City and put on a fight in the first 10 minutes. We'll see how the next 10 are affected. Lynchburg trying to play comeback when we return. Passes all around the floor this time. Falls to number 20, Jamie Bevins. Nice move to go up and around, but just couldn't get the swarmed, and Hoffman will have a jumper that doesn't fall, can't stick the landing. That's been the narrative so far for Lynchburg as Kaysen straightaway three, no good. Tie up just inside the free throw line, and the basketball will stay on this side of the floor.
Well, yeah, that possession, kind of a microcosm of what we saw in the first quarter. Lynchburg just not shooting it great right now. Had a couple really good looks. Went inside to Spainhour.
She found her positioning early in this possession, just couldn't get enough. I agree with how this Meredith team has played, too. They understand they're in the fight. This jump shot way off the mark. Here comes Spainhour. Kaysen, all sorts of space, a dribble to the mid-range, and it curls in.
Yeah, so nice adjustment there from Brooke Kaysen. You know, she has made the only three for Lynchburg, but she's missed the next three after that. So this time she decides to take one dribble. Let me get it to the mid-range. You know, a lot of the analytics people would say that's not a great shot, a step inside the three-point line. But I think Brooke Kaysen showed that if you can just get a little closer. Oh, what an individual effort on the block by Brooke Kaysen as well.
Putting on a portfolio performance so far, stats of everything, but this time it's a turnover. Here come the Angels. The other way, Zuberg tries to find contact and finishes through it. Pretty off the glass to put the lead back at 4.
Really nice there by Zuberg to anticipate the contact, as you said, and it came down low.
Now passing from the Hornets, a little extra. Spainhour had some salt and pepper to get to the cup. This time, 2 shots ensuing. Take another look at how this Meredith team has really just been in spots and, as we said, roughed this thing up. You talk about turnovers, and 30 per game for the Avenging Angels. That's a stat that you just can't get past. Obviously, it has been haunting them throughout the season, but you're seeing the fight on the other side of the floor. It's really helping them out.
Exactly. I think they know, hey, we're going to give up the basketball. We're going to have some turnovers, but if we can then get some steals ourselves and, as I said, kind of muddy the waters, make the game maybe quote-unquote a little ugly, then they're going to stay in some ball games like they have shown right now with a 2-point lead.
Substitution as Emma Rosh enters the game, and Lynchburg going to be the benefit of a foul way away from home. No, beg your pardon. That is on the Hornets. As initially looked like it was going to be called offensive. Sayla Parker once again going up the floor, showing that aggression. So as we go with 8 minutes to play in the second quarter, Meredith holds on to a 2-point lead, and here is Sayla Parker. Got her hands right in the oven. Ball stays on the Angels' side of the floor. Pass right to the corner. Angels, quick pump fakes. Another nice move. Spainhour goes straight up to get the block. And Lynchburg takes possession.
That's another one there from Bree Spainhour. It's a block. She's not even really trying to swat it. She just gets walled up there on the low post, just at the edge of the paint. And really fantastic fundamental defense there from Bree Spainhour. See if Lynchburg can tie here or perhaps even take the lead with a 3, even though that's been pretty dry well so far in the first half.
8%, 1 for 13. Parker looks left, finds Petty, who's still trying to find her stroke here in the early going. Pass outside, here's a chance, and knocks it home. Just seeing the ball go through the cylinder is going to be a positive sign, but Lynchburg also sees themselves into the lead.
Yeah, confidence there from Petty, and that's it. You know your team's not shooting it well, but with her form, her technique, she's not going to miss but so many. I mean, she's going to make a bunch of shots from everywhere on the court.
Rosh takes it, dishes it out to Avery Lackland, who just entered the game. Ball stays under the bucket, and I mean, you know, we talk about Lackland being one of the new subs, but as we said, not a lot of options on this Meredith bench, and it just goes to show it's even more impressive. They've had so much hustle early. As Rosh a little too heavy off the backboard, and a foul under the bucket.
I like the design on the inbound play, though. Throw it up high, and she can just keep it up there and shoot it. 6'1" Rosh couldn't get that one to fall, but
It's a good little baseline inbound play. Those are always fun. That's when the coaches go all mad scientists with the inbound plays, baseline, sideline. They can really have fun with those, and those are the ones you sit around dreaming up, and you come up with some good ones as a coach.
Spainhour sinks it for 2, back to a 3-point lead. You know, you can spend all the practices trying to go through the variations and to create a playbook, but you got to have the folks go out and execute it. That's been the style that, you know, you look in November, it's probably a little bit tougher to do that than in February when everything is ironed out. Extra passes. Kaysen keeps going, now finds Hoffman, short corner, no good, but Kaysen under the bucket, wide open for another offensive rebound. Tallies 2 more.
And that's the other thing about having a possession, Evan, where you do make 4 or 5 passes. A lot of times you get more offensive rebounds because the defense is then scrambling. They're in recovery mode. They're in help mode, so they don't always box out the way they should. That's the other benefit to really working the ball around to the different areas of the court. Brooke Kaysen, again, just a solo takeaway. Boy, her defense is just absolutely through the roof for me right now. Very impressive.
Spainhour, an extra dribble to the cup, up and in. Timeout, Meredith. Lynchburg finds their footing in the second quarter, staying a step ahead. You love the connections and the contributions from some of the veterans. 7-point lead, Lynchburg. We'll be right back. Non-conference toss-up, 4-1 to start the year, one of the better starts in the program's recent history. Nice move from Mary Church, somehow develops some separation, sticks the landing for 2.
Yeah, that was crafty there to find some space. Meredith breaking the 11-0 run.
Bree Spainhour rehabbing from that torn ACL, gets her first start of the season today. Dishes out to Petty, cross court to Kaysen. Trying to go give and go, somehow found the window just narrowly as Kaysen will head to the stripe. That's going to be a foul called on Lackland. Lynchburg up 5. They had an 11-0 run going into that timeout, hence the reason Coach Ron wanted to talk things over.
Yeah, I think a good timeout there from Coach Ron. You could tell in the possession after the timeout, the Avenging Angels had great ball movement. See if they can get that spark back. Brooke Kaysen, senior from Fishersville, what a career she has had. I think so, probably still very underrated as a player here for Lynchburg. I think so many of us she's so good, a lot of times you don't notice the things she does.
No doubt, and this consistent and just one of those staples. Does a little bit of everything on the stat sheet as the 3 misses everything. A tap from Meredith, and now propel Lynchburg into transition. Toes to the tarmac and a beautiful dish down low. Petty puts it off the glass and in.
And a great phrase by you, sprinting down the runway there for Lynchburg offensively.
Now the Avenging Angels trying to stay nifty on their side as Poole won't give an inch. How about the hesitation? Extra step for Molly Zuberg. Crafty play on both ends.
Yeah, boy, her footwork is really good, finding a way to finish around the basket.
Hoffman can't connect from 3, and there's just a tap from Kaysen. Those are the types of plays we're talking about, Kyle.
That's exactly right. You know, and it's up to the stat keeper to who they give that rebound to. But, I mean, it's Brooke Kaysen all the way there with just a little punch out to the teammate.
No doubt from beyond the perimeter, punches it all over this game. Lynchburg has its largest lead at 9.
I love that. And that's kind of a ball don't lie moment. She did the hard work to keep the possession, so she gets it back and drains the 3.
Kaysen in these last few seasons has only had 1 game in which she didn't start. That goes to show the trust from Coach Nichols and company as Mary Church drains the straightaway 3.
I love this from Meredith, though. You know, they're down right now, but they just keep coming. They're not going anywhere.
Church, the first one in double figures for Meredith, now at 10. Kaysen has 11, looking to add on and can't get the 3 to fall.
Good look, though. You get downstairs with Brooke Kaysen and throw it back out, or with Bree Spainhour, then throw it out to Kaysen, rather. Lynchburg's got to hunker down defensively here.
Natalie Poole called with the personal, blocking foul right on the baseline. 3:01 to play here in the second quarter. Meredith, a team that has 7 freshmen on the 12-person roster and 5 freshman guards. So, Kyle, we talk about their speed and style of play. I think that lends itself to transition as well.
I totally agree. If you can keep them together, you can develop that style over the course of a few years, and then all of a sudden it just becomes a real team identity. Hey, we're going to run and gun.
Foul called on Meredith as we had the other way.
And could you maybe do a little bit more defensively with those 5 guards as well, where we're going to pressure maybe full court a little bit more, maybe run some of those kind of half-court traps where you jump a team as they break the timeline. That's always a fun one. You can do that with guards that can really move around sideline to sideline.
That helps throughout the years, too, as they continue throughout their Meredith tenures. Lana Knows back in the game. Mary Church charged with personal, return to the bench. Here's Canada. Beautiful pass to a crashing Kaysen off the glass. They're all day for 24 in white as Knows gets to her spot, short corner, clips the iron and out. Madison Hoffman tussles for the rebound. Now pass out wide. And another one. Front iron and out. That time, that was Allie Schaefer, the freshman from Raleigh, North Carolina. Second appearance of the year. If this tells you anything about her three-point abilities, made 10 threes in a game at Wakefield High School. That broke the school record. And you talk about Lynchburg's three-point shooting, but they just keep adding those perimeter players.
Yeah, I think that's something Coach Nichols was a good three-point shooter in her own playing days, and sometimes that'll happen as a coach. You like those players who kind of resemble yourself, whether you're willing to admit it or not. And hey, who doesn't want to make more threes as a basketball coach, right? I mean, I don't think many coaches in the country would turn that down.
No doubt. Angels crashing to the bucket, and Zuberg couldn't get a clean runway. Here comes Spainhour in transition. Dishes off to Schaefer. Takes a dribble, too heavy. And we talked about it in the men's soccer season with the NCAA tournament being hosted here at Lynchburg. A lot of coaches who are defenders or goalkeepers, and their teams were some of the best in those categories. Meredith, extra pass to the corner, wide open, Knows, sinks it.
There's a long two there for Knows. You know, she's our player to watch. She could partly be just, working back into game shape.
Vandergrift, other corner, no good. But Hoffman is charged with the foul right under the bucket. I mean, Meredith won't go away in this game. Just a 6-point lead.
Yeah, they're pesky. Coach Ron should really feel good about this effort right now. She'd be better if the game was tied or Meredith still had a lead like they did after quarter one. But I think Coach Ron very happy with her ball club right now, what they're bringing on the road. A Sunday afternoon game after Thanksgiving, too. Sometimes you don't have the best energy in those games. Meredith has it.
They're a step ahead, as Knows was as well. Jumper won't fall, and every team going against Meredith knows that their best friend as Canada gets the elbow jumper. I mean, how short this bench is, fatigue plays a factor. It's the reason why this team in Virginia in the first quarter, a very stellar opponent in the USA South. They got outscored 27-7 in the second quarter, and it's just about connecting them if you want to be a better ball club.
Yeah, and that's interesting. That'd be interesting to unpack as to maybe why is the second quarter the hang-up quarter for Meredith. And I don't know the complete answer there.
Jumper rattles out. 26 left in the first half. We'll see if Lynchburg settles for one shot. Caitlin Canada had to watch her pocket. Now Spainauer sets up shop from beyond the perimeter. Is this a draw up from Coach Nichols as Casey receives the screen, goes out to the corner. Canada can't connect. And that is where the first 20 minutes will conclude. Fun storyline in the early going here in the Hill City. Lynchburg down after the first and a resurgent second quarter to find their way back 23 points in those 10 minutes. We'll be back for halftime stats and analysis on the other side. Stay tuned on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Lynchburg to life. After and Lynchburg, you see some of the primetime plays from
huge, but how about the Meredith Avenging Angels? You know, one of our key for them was to avoid the turnovers. They have 9, but they're averaging over 30, so they're on pace to be well under that average. If they can keep the turnovers down in half number 2, I think Meredith will be a factor in this ball game. If Lynchburg can get them turned over a little bit more, you could see the Hornets run away with it.
No doubt. And another stat that we talked about was second chance points, because this Lynchburg team has really lived off of those offensive rebounds. They have 12 second chance points, and if they didn't have those 12, they'd be trailing Meredith right now. And so what do you think is the key for Coach Ron and company throughout that halftime discussion to saying, hey, you're not that far out of this ball game?
Yeah, I think the rebounding will be a big key for the halftime discussion for Meredith. I think the dialogue is going to be, hey, we've got to get bodies on them. We've got to box out better. We've got to understand longer shot a lot of time leads to longer rebounds. So have that awareness when they do shoot those threes that you might get a bigger carom off the rim there on the missed three. And let's be honest, Lynchburg was not great, 3 for 19 from beyond the arc. That's another area. I mean, if Lynchburg can heat up there, they could put this game away early. If they continue to be kind of defrosting out there from 3, then Meredith is going to hang around.
Literally and figuratively, a cold one here at the Hill City today. Lynchburg plus 11 on the boards, and it's been a point of emphasis for Coach Al. And that with some of the halftime stuff, getting the ball rack back, but that's tight. In the early going, Audra Petty now looks right to the free throw line. Spainhour, little handoff, and you're starting to see the cuts with quickness from this Hornets offense as Parker a little too tall off the glass. Avenging Angels take over.
Good take there from Parker. I think you got to feel good about that opening defensive sequence if you're a Meredith fan.
The Avenging Angels led after the first quarter as they did against SVU as Spainhour once again adding to the block tally, her third of the game. We'll see if Meredith stays in the fight. Petty beyond the perimeter. Misses, and Meredith takes over. Probably one of the more uncharacteristic shots from Petty you'll see on the season. Mentioned she had 49 points between her last 2 games, hence earning the ODAC Offensive Player of the Week honor. Meredith, a little fancy footwork to get to the cup. Another nice move. You're starting to see it come alive for Emmy Baber.
A great individual effort right there. A little behind the back around the free throw line. That kind of lulled the defender a bit. Then she stepped on the accelerator again and got to the rack. Really impressive.
The question we posed throughout the first half, can Meredith find the energy in this second 20 minutes to just try and keep up with the Lynchburg team that loves to run? Petty, beautiful pass down low. Spainhour cleans the glass for 2.
Fantastic dribble penetration, come through the lane from the side.
And then dishing off over the shoulder to Spainhour, who's always going to be in the right spot waiting for that one.
Obviously, the Lynchburg team wanted her back from injury, but it feels like a punctuated impact in this contest. As Hoffman goes downstairs, the guard getting dirty to get the rebound. Pass down the floor. Parker was flat-footed trying to get the ball up. A little frustrating for the Lynchburg bench. This time, Zuberg looking to wrap around, dishes outside to Nose. Long 2 off the mark.
Good rebounding again from Lynchburg. They're doing a very good job getting body on body with the box out.
Spainhour left alone under the bucket. Count it and 1. That's the signature move we know and love. Just a little curl around to find her positioning in the paint.
Yeah, she's so good with the shoulders and the hips. Gets a little bit of space there with the right hip you saw, and then uses the shoulders to kind of shield the defender, able to get the shot over. Yeah, we've seen that for the last 4 years. And it never gets old for Lynchburg fans. Again, her footwork, I got to say again, her footwork is just one of the best you will see.
How crucial is that offhand as well when you're trying to wrap around. Bree Spainhour, one of the better bigs in the conference. And obviously this is a Lynchburg team that faced Washington and Lee last time out, but they didn't have Mary Schleissner, who is also one of the premier players in Division III. And you think about Bree Spainhour getting back to game speed, it's probably nice to get some confidence against those bigs that are typically starting on the bench.
And I'll say this, is Audra Petty, probably would like to have that one back. I'll say this about Lynchburg in that W&L game. Yeah, they didn't have Schleissner. But, Lynchburg won that rebounding battle, plus 11 there. Out-rebounded the Generals 53-42. I think that's something you could feel good about if you're Lynchburg. You can debate, are there moral victories or morale victories? But I think there was a lot to like from that Washington and Lee game as you get a little double dribble there from Nose. Just kind of lost track of the basketball there. I didn't know if she wanted to pull up or drive, and I think that caused the double dribble.
No Kate Littlejohn for Lynchburg in that W&L game as well, and I think, that might not impact the rebounding statistic as much, but you recognize, two of the stars for those teams were out, and Washington and Lee is a team that typically deals with a lot of what Lynchburg does with the Zimmerman sisters playing soccer in the fall. Yeah. They have one of their better players in the starting lineup.
Yeah, sorry to step on you there. Lynchburg led about 13 minutes in that game against Washington and Lee as well. So again, not trying to sugarcoat it. I mean, Lynchburg loses the game on the road in Lexington, but there are some positive takeaways.
Both teams have played conference games to get the year started, even in November. Meredith 0-2 in USA South play. Nose's jumper is off the mark, and Parker just heckled under the bucket. That'll be a personal on Bevins. And, a tricky start to the season for Meredith as well. They have Mary Baldwin, a team in the USA South, and they really go back and forth in that affair. Ended up losing that game with just 26 seconds to play when the game was tied. You feel like the Avenging Angels are just a few breaks away from being right there in conference play.
No, I totally agree. I think they're going to take some lumps this season, but there's a lot to like about this Meredith team. And, yeah, a wedgie there from Taylor Brown. The ball wedged between the rim and the glass. It can be comical at times, but I assure you the person that shot it is not laughing in those situations.
No, you always want that back. And, we wish we had Jamarcus Brown. Hopefully he's coming back from Thanksgiving break, because typically he can just go up there so easily to get it from the rim. It'd probably take me a few miracles if we were to go out there. Nose ready to go to the corner. Meredith just trying to find their footing again. Lynchburg has extended the lead to a baker's dozen. Cross-court pass disrupted by Brown, and looks like Bevins had it for a moment before that deflection sends it out of bounds.
Yeah, great start to this third quarter for Lynchburg. This is not what Meredith needed. Just one field goal so far for the Avenging Angels. They got to get busy to stay in the game now.
Petty right in front of the bench. Committee celebration as threes added to the tally. 16-point lead. Audra Petty turning into an automatic shooter from beyond the perimeter and has been knocked down here in these last few weeks to start the season. Zuberg one-on-one with Parker, one of the better defenders for Lynchburg. Now extra separation. Look at the movement. Gonna have to hoist a straightaway three. Trickles around the rim, offensive rebound to Bevins. The mid-range, no good. Meredith can't buy a bucket. Here comes Natalie Poole, the Euro step to go the other way. The track race continues. Nose up and in. Kaysen with the late contact. That'll be an and one opportunity, but it will be after a timeout from Coach Ron, who wants to talk things over. A 14-point lead for Lynchburg, and back and forth sequence. Speed on full display in the Hill City. To see how they
for Lynchburg. It was a good sequence, a good 30 or 40 seconds of basketball for Meredith. They need to see if they can build on that going forward.
jump shots just not falling. This is a Meredith team that hasn't been on the road often. Our straightaway jumper falls short. This is the first road game since November 9th for Meredith. They won't leave North Carolina again until January 31st, so a lot of home cooking here in the winter months. More contact as Nose tries to get to the cup. 2 shots at the charity stripe.
Well, home cooking fits the Thanksgiving theme. I hope everybody had a great holiday. Or if it was just a regular Thursday, that's fine too. Hopefully you get to watch some basketball or some football on TV.
That's right. What's on your television on Thanksgiving Thursday? Because there's so many sports nowadays.
Yeah, no, you're right. There is. And then you got like the I Love Lucy reruns and things like
That's
that
right.
that are always fun, make
The
you feel,
signature.
make you feel good. Well, and the great thing with those old shows is they're not going to be controversial either, so you can watch them with the entire
That's right.
family. But yeah, a little bit of hoops, a little bit of pigskin.
There you go.
So yeah, I think a good mix, and then some good old friendly conversation with the TV off.
That's always what we need and love as Sayla Parker gets it off the glass. Clean footwork to get to her spot. I go back and I think the problem with hoops on Thanksgiving is they're always playing in these places like Atlantis
Right.
and the Bahamas, and then you go outside to play catch and it's 30 degrees.
Sure. No, you're absolutely right.
This time a little too much contact from Natalie Poole. Frustrated with the contact, but you just start to see how they won't give an inch up top.
Yeah, 4 fouls on Poole. She's really picked them up pretty quickly. I think that's part of the frustration too. She's thinking, well, I haven't even been on the court that long, and you've whacked me for 4. So unfortunately, Coach Nichols is going to pull Poole off in a little conversation there about how to avoid getting those fouls.
Good coaching moment in a game like this. Before conference play, start feeling it out as Lynchburg has an extra tap and causes the turnover. Here's Kaysen. Separation outside to Parker. Now Hoffman left alone, other side, ready to connect. Just a touch too heavy.
Lynchburg with 3 in double figures. Petty, Kaysen, and Spainhour. I think they can, 2 in one game. Wow.
On opposite ends of the floor.
Opposite ends.
Bingo card material.
Stop me in my tracks talking about Lynchburg scoring. I think those 3 are typically going to be the leading scorers for Lynchburg. And then if Little John gets back healthy, obviously she's going to pitch in and do what she does. But, I mean, those 3 can really be heavy hitters Evan, I think Lynchburg could even have some games where those three players all score 20 apiece, and you would like your chances for success if that happens.
Oh, Parker powers through. Talk about aggression and athleticism to get off the glass. Talk about some of the heavy hitters, and then Selah Parker coming alive in this third quarter. Wow.
Yeah, beautiful use of the dribble there, and then her athletic ability to get over with the bounce. Nice, high, soft toss off the top of the square there. That's something that can be tough for younger players. To kind of line drive it off the backboard. Really floated that nicely to the top of the box there, and it fell in.
I want to go back to your thought on some of these important offensive contributors for Lynchburg, and the field goal percentage always sticks out because, yes, there are a lot of three-point shooters, but this team has really started to improve those stats to start this year, particularly Audra Petty shooting 45% from the field. Bree Spainauer, albeit a smaller sample size, right at 50%. And then the team's free throw percentage north of 70. That's a stat that's way up from last year.
Yeah, I think that's really going to bode well for Lynchburg going forward. Nice hesitation in there to get that basket.
Emmy Baber for two. Lynchburg doesn't waste their breath going the other way. Here's Bree Spainauer right under the cup, rattles it home.
Yeah, and that helps the percentages as well. Again, proximity. The closer you shoot, the higher that percentage is going to be.
Oh, there's another nice move, but this time Baber couldn't hit the mark. Deflection will keep it with the Avenging Angels.
I think that's one great thing about the women's game. You do get to see that footwork in the low post a bit more. You see those up and under moves and the hesitations. I think in the men's game, it's a lot of power, power, power. Just go right to the rim, try to dunk it, try to lay it in. The women have to typically work a little bit more to get those open looks downstairs. Case in point right there.
No doubt. Baber putting on a display, getting back into the paint. Have we seen a possession today without a pump fake from Meredith? They have been very crafty. Oh, Spainauer left alone, tried for the reversal. Perhaps needed an extra stride, but bailed out by the personal down low. We'll see who that foul is charged to.
Spainauer is another good case study about how to score baskets down low, because that was one of her moves that she uses a lot, where she does go with the reversal. Just keep going beyond the rim and make it on the other side, because the defender typically is going to try to meet you on the front side of that rim, or meet her on the left side where she's coming in. But then she takes it all the way through there and draws some contact, and it's just really impressive what she can do around the basket, and she's pretty good from the charity line as well.
Very patient in her approach. Makes it back to a 16-point lead. Foul trouble right now. Bevins on the bench for Meredith with 4. Lynchburg's Natalie Poole also has 4 fouls. That was a third on Mary Church. As the jumper falls out of bounds, took a late deflection, and Kayla Terry re-enters the contest.
Yeah, Kayla Terry's another fun player. We haven't talked about her much, but a senior. Really one of those team leader, glue type of players, and she could be part of that point guard by committee situation while Littlejohn gets healthy.
3-point jumper falls for Meredith, trying to stick in this contest. That time, Skylar Setzer, the freshman. Here's Schaefer, elbow jumper, sinks it. Schaefer gets her first collegiate points off the mid-range jumper. You've seen so many of these freshmen who have come in and already gotten theirs on the season, but it's just the fact that their depth has really expanded from previous seasons. Especially on the younger side, this Lynchburg team will get a lot back as Mary Church sticks the landing on the floater.
Yeah, how about that breakdown there from the Avenging Angels? They went right corner to left corner and then kind of attacked down the left seam there, Lane.
Schaefer down the hatch. Wow. Throw a wish in the well. Sometimes you'll pull out another three-pointer. Lynchburg's percentage is starting to rise here in this third quarter. Back to a 16-point lead in the Hill City. We'll be back. have extended this lead, trying to hold on to the double. Wraps around. Hey, so far. Freshman from Salisbury. Ball away, so still 40 seconds. Another one of what you could say was maybe a bailout foul, as you got to watch for the traveling violation going down to the floor. Foul on Schaefer. So 27 ticks remain here in this third quarter. Lynchburg will be back in Turner Gymnasium next week. A date with Hollins on Wednesday at 7. Haber, corner jumper, clicks the rim. Now a scram on the floor. Possession arrow signals it'll stay with Meredith.
Yeah, Lynchburg at home Wednesday, and then they're off till December 14th. They play again on the 16th. Then they're off till January 2nd. So that's something that most teams go through this time of year. The schedule is just not rhythmic or continuous. You'll play a little bit, and then you're off for a week or two, and you got to practice. And a lot of times the players will go home a bit for the holiday. And that's good. I think it breaks it up and keeps things from getting stale and routine. But, you know, coaches, they like those routines. They like that rhythm. So a lot of times coaches don't like this time of year.
See another look at the foul on Kaysen. Almost looked like from our angle that she got all ball. Obviously, the referee saw something, would have to get another look at it. You know, I think it's so interesting how every single sport in the collegiate landscape differs in the scheduling. Because you got a lot of sports that go out there, like swim, for example, that'll be more of a 5 or 6 month endeavor. Basketball is not necessarily a long season, but it sure feels like it with all the breaks. As Schaefer tries to connect from the corner. No good. Punched out by Kaysen. Timely hands. Finds a cutting Schaefer. Southpaw up and in. Oh, that is a beautiful sequence to end the third quarter. Smiles all around.
What a connection right there. Kaysen gets it, senses time is running down, and sees Schaefer streaking and just fires an overhead bullet. Watch this. Oh, that's fantastic.
The connection makes it a 14-point lead. Lynchburg heads to the final quarter with a lot of confidence. Stick with us on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Here in the Hill. Home so far this season. As Petty kicks outside, Kaysen left alone, rattles around the half. As Mary Church will go to the line for 2. Hornets trailed in that one by 10 at the break and came back to win by 7. Kyle, that was the first time in a long time that they had won a game when trailing at the half. In fact, they never did that last season. It's just a testament to their perseverance.
Yeah, it's a wild stat to think that, they didn't have any comeback wins, but I think it also goes to show you the competition that Lynchburg's playing. They can hold on to wins, so that's been a point of emphasis for Coach Allison Nichols. Got to get better start, stop playing from behind, but nice to know you can come back when needed. And, maybe we're pointing out again, Meredith led after one quarter here today. I think we gave full credit to the Avenging Angels, but Coach Nichols for Lynchburg would probably say her team started a little slow.
Three-point ball certainly wasn't there. 1 for 12 to start this game as Petty wraps around it in. Oh, wow. Spinning and winning to add to the tally. This Lynchburg team has just really looked like no other here in the last few years. A lot of variety in a lot of positions as Church has a wide open lane. You just wonder as this game and the season gets later, you really recognize those ODAC opponents are waiting that have really had successful years in the past, and you're going to have a lot of freshmen get their first looks and try to compete. So maybe Washington and Lee as the first conference opponent isn't a bad thing. As the connection goes down low to Sawyers and 3 in one game.
Nobody had that on the bingo card. Nobody had that. Tough luck there for Sawyers. Boy, we haven't seen Jenna Sawyers much, but she's bouncy. She's got some electricity to her game in the way she moves around the court. Another great feed from Brooke Kaysen, by the way. It's a shame Kaysen couldn't get another assist. 15 team assists for Lynchburg as well. Great stat there for the Hornets.
Committee effort all the way around. Worth noting as well, Allie Schaefer came in, delivered a touchdown for Lynchburg, 7 points, and she has been one of those contributors where, you look middle of the year and you might see a little bit of a resurgence as Baber has the extra pump fake. That has been a move she has gone to frequently, and it's working out. Sawyers draws the personal as it really just looked like Lackland wasn't in the right position.
Yeah, Lackland was trying to keep her in front, but again, I think that's Sawyer's speed. She's 5'8", but really, the speed impresses me with Jenna Sawyers. Let's see if she can get activated here offense. We'll see her make a bucket or two maybe.
See some of the looks from earlier, Audra Petty's wrap around. I mean, that's just one of the plays that you really feel like is a testament to so many moves we've seen throughout the day. There's another one on the other end from Baber.
Petty's another Lynchburg player, really good at finishing with the left hand as well.
Sawyers trying to hold that pivot foot, goes outside to Parker. Extra one out to Canada, no good. With Audra Petty, the big conversation from Coach Nichols is that, she's tough to guard on the perimeter if you're a big, because obviously you don't have that speed and agility, but she can also go to the paint when she has guards against her. Just such a tough matchup, and coaches have to pick their poison in that department.
Yeah, kind of a tweener player, right? And so as teams start sending maybe 2 players at her, or the helper comes up on that drive, Petty's going to get better about knowing when to pull up and shoot the mid-range, or knowing when to pass to the open teammate. She already does that, but she'll continue to improve.
Spainhour extra pass to Canada, who connects down low. That's really going to be a part of Petty's game that's going to be a difference maker as well. It's a 3-point shot, because if she continues to keep that percentage high, that's so scary for opposing teams. 3-on-2 break. Sawyers just couldn't get that hand back far enough, but Meredith turns it right back over. Numbers once again, Canada searches for options, kicks out to Parker, foot on the line for 2. Front rim it out, and Canada, the offensive rebound, muscling her way back to the cup. That has been a stat that's favored Lynchburg now. 14 offensive boards today.
Yeah, and a good job to get it without creating too much contact, getting the over the back, on the back call there. And I think very nice to get into the shooting motion pretty quickly again.
Well, to break in Turner Gymnasium, 7:02 to play in the fourth quarter. Hornets still up 13. 85 games played, and in that last season averaged over 24 points per game. She was in the national standings for that. Kyle, you feel like, we talked about it with Allison Nichols, you got good players turning into good coaches. You just have a different eye for the game.
You really do, and I think she understands all the elements of the game and what you need to be a great player. You don't always have to be a great player to be. When you have the mind that these two coaches have, Coach Nichols and Coach, it's a really easy transition to sharing what you know about the game.
Both with teams from within their conference of their playing days. Of course, Meredith was where Coach Ron played. It's a straightaway three-pointer falls. It's another one for Molly Zuberg. Then Coach Nichols playing at Bridgewater, just about an hour and a half away. And, it's a smart time to start talking about the ODAC because it's as good as it's ever been, especially at the top, as Canada's called for the travel. The three-headed monster has always been Washington and Lee, Randolph-Macon, and of course you think about Bridgewater being in that consideration as well. Shenandoah, a team I want to pick your brain on because they start the year 5-0. They've already toppled number 19 Catholic and number 24 Gettysburg. So you're thinking about a team that nobody's even talking about, and they're already defeating those national foes.
Yeah, they're building on that momentum from last season where they made that great postseason run, and I think it's fantastic. Walking violation there, but yeah, what we're seeing in the ODAC on the women's side, I think, is going to rival what we have on the men's side, where you consistently have 3 or 4 teams ranked in the top 25. I think the women's game is going to get there in the ODAC, and it makes perfect sense when you think about the different schools and the resources they have at their disposal, and then the talent around the state of Virginia and North Carolina, and even the way these teams recruit beyond those areas as well. So I really love what the conference is going to bring, and I mean, that's a good word, bring. You got to bring it every night. I mean, top to bottom, there are no gimmies right now in the Old Dominion Athletic Conference.
Not at all. A lot of parity in this game, and you look at Shenandoah, the reason we mentioned their names, they're the only other ODAC team playing today, as Mary Church drains another 3 to cut into a double-digit lead and make it 8.
We got a game again.
That Shenandoah game against CNU is receiving votes. That's at 3 o'clock because Lynchburg can't get the 3 to fall. Touched every part of the backboard. And now Meredith suddenly trying to charge back in, down 8.
I wonder if a Meredith bucket would bring us a timeout from Coach Allison Nichols in Lynchburg.
We'll have to wait for the moment. Traveling violation heading for the basket. That was Molly Zuberg once again, who has really started to have a profound impact on this one. 12 points, 5 boards, 2 assists. Meredith already has 2 players over 30 minutes. That just goes to show the fact they're going to really rely on that starting lineup. Here comes Spainhour, ready to scoop off the glass and in. That is why you love to have her back in the lineup, and that is a timely bucket.
Yeah, this is where your scouting can really help if you're Meredith, because you've got to get in front of her, and the help has to be a little bit quicker. You have to know what she's capable of and know that when she gets those shoulders square and gets going downhill, I've got to move faster. If you're late on the help, that's what you're going to have. You're going to cause the foul there, whether it was the helper or just the original defender.
That's the 5th on Jamie Bevins as well. So fouls out of this game. 26 minutes played and had 10 rebounds. So if you're looking for someone to cut into this rebounding deficit for Meredith, you just lost one of the main candidates.
Yeah, that's tough there for Meredith. And that's another basketball IQ. You got to know sometimes, hey, I'm playing with 4. I've just got to let her go. I've got to give up the layup. As much as that sucks for a hard-nosed basketball player, sometimes that's what you have to do.
And tricky because it felt like an urgent part of this game. Meredith cutting back into the lead, and they keep it going as Nose hits the jumper from the corner.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I think it is an urgent part of the game, though. You're right.
It was a long 2, foot on the line. Avenging Angels get the basketball right back. The sprint continues. Lynchburg just trying to finish through the line. What a game we have had. The foul off ball. Taylor Brown charged with the personal. That will end up being her first of the contest.
Mary Church set a really good screen. She set a legal screen. And I don't think Taylor Brown had any intent right there, but she did just kind of run Church over, brought out the whistle.
Baber cross court, nose again, clips the iron. What a big shot that would have been. Energy all around for this Meredith team. Lynchburg trying to find its footing. Taylor Brown, another mid-range jumper, silky smooth.
She's really good in that area.
Baber trying to pump fake this time, won't work. Here come the Hornets. Pass up the floor to Schaefer, tries to wrap around and off the glass.
How about a coming out party for Schaefer? Hadn't scored yet in her collegiate career, and now it's up to 9. Really moving well, running the floor there, working the angle to get in close to the rim.
And especially off the bench, you feel like if you have energy, you're going to get your points. This is a Lynchburg team that is averaging 28 bench points per game. It leads the ODAC. Baber, a few dribbles to the charity stripe, rises and can't connect. 3:01 to play. All of a sudden, after Meredith had a furious run, Lynchburg extends the lead back up to 13. That's where it rests as we had to break. 3:01 to play. Stick with us in Turner Gymnasium. Hold on to a 13-point lead. Down low to Petty. Oh, that is a dominant grab dribble. Right. Is almost ready to add an and-one opportunity. She off 2 shots.
Yeah, and look at what she can do. She can go down low, box to box, and post up. She can shoot from 3. She could probably play pretty much any position for you, 1 through 5, if you need her to, because she's really much more than a serviceable defender. But I think, really offensively, her bag's just getting deeper and deeper.
Foul was on the floor. Pass outside to Terry, no good. Definitely versatility is the name of the game for a team that has so much depth with players that can play any position. That's going to be the main ingredient to success for Coach Nichols' squad. Think about battling injury, even like right now with Kate Littlejohn out. This Lynchburg team hasn't missed a beat. Ranked as one of the top 100 tempo teams in Division III as well, seeing it on full display as Poole trying to go opposite hand reversal.
Yeah, tough one there for Poole, but I mean, you have to try some of those things if you want to be able to do it in a pressure game.
Hornets, you can sense, feeling like they want to bleed out the clock, but talk a little bit just about the pace of play in this game, because, we've talked about it being a track meet, but it feels like more and more every game. It's turning into a controlled effort like you see right there.
You hit on a great thing there, controlled. You don't sense that Lynchburg is rushing to get these points up and play at this pace. I think it is very controlled. I think it's smart basketball. And really, again, with the second chance points in there as well, they can do a lot offensively. I love the resources that Coach Nichols has, too. If she needs more post presence, you can play Taylor Brown a little bit more. You can get TB and Bree Spainhour on the court together. Get Kayla Sledge back at some point. Then, she's a force inside. You want to go a little more guard heavy and play that matchup, you can do that as well for Lynchburg. And then as these young players develop more and more, you just get that confidence. I think just really blowing me away. And this is going to be game 5 now that they've been 65 points or more. And I'll give you the stat again. They only did that 7 times last year. And this year they've already hit that 65-point mark now 5 times, including this one. So that tells you, again, this team is scoring points in bunches. And I think it's only going to go up from here. They're going to score more and more.
You get Bree Spainhour back, who puts on a 20-point, 8-rebound performance at her first start. Audra Petty, double figures again. Every single game this year, she has had 10 or more points. A lot of contributors as Brown gets the pass down low, trying to add to the tally, but 76 points, like you said. I mean, that's a scoring affair where you feel like the Hornets have gotten it from everyone on this roster, and I think what's even more important is you're doing this before those breaks, before those little tidbits in the year where, you got to find that rhythm again.
Yep. Things like that, extra pass help, 18 assists now for Lynchburg. I mean, that's really a great way to score points. Share the basketball, move the basketball. Don't let it stick in any one player's hands. Looks like 10 of 12 now from the charity line, now 11 of 13. That helps too. When you knock down those free throws, score without the clock moving, that's a big, big key for Lynchburg. Tip your cap to Meredith. They're 8 of 9 from the charity line, so a good number there for the Avenging Angels.
And this has been a very impressive scoring effort from Meredith. As we said, they have only had 8 players enter this game, and they have 4 in double figures. Mary Church leads the effort with 20 points, and you can see hustling through the finish line. It's going to be a trait that really helps this team in the future. A very young squad for the Avenging Angels. Lynchburg's going to be 5-1. Unblemished on their home floor to start the season. A lot to be thankful for in the Hive as the Hornets get it done by 16. Kyle, you really feel like this team has something special in the number of contributors, and even without Kate Littlejohn, still just looking like they are very confident in one another.
Yeah, Lynchburg is showing some depth that maybe we weren't sure they would have coming into the year. And Coach Nichols will tell you, hey, every year you bring in these talented freshmen, but some of them don't pan out. You don't always know what you're going to get. And right now, I think Lynchburg is seeing what they're getting from some of the young players, not just first years, but all through the roster, seeing some contributions that are just outstanding. And this is a Meredith team, don't know what they're going to end up record-wise, but they brought a good fight to the Hill City here today on, again, a day where sometimes energy is lacking, a Sunday after Thanksgiving game, kind of a quiet gym. I thought Meredith brought a good fight to Lynchburg, and the Hornets withstood the test. I think passed with, I don't know if Coach Nichols would give it flying colors, but it feels like a B+, A- kind of a performance for Lynchburg, doesn't it?
You feel like a lot was working right. And this is a Meredith team that has had 8 wins, and it's past 3 seasons. I really find it hard to believe that this team, yes, they're 1-4 to start the year, but they look like they're better than an 8-win club. And, you look in the next few years, right? The direction of both of these programs certainly feels like it's trending in the right direction, right?
I love the trajectory for Meredith and for Lynchburg. And you said it there in that final sequence. Meredith was fighting till the end, diving for loose balls, getting scrappy. That is not easy to do on the road when you're down. That bodes well for Meredith. Coach Ron's got to keep this young group together and hopefully avoid injuries, knock on wood. And all of a sudden you keep building and building, and then as you're building, you add a star player that maybe you wouldn't have gotten before. And it's going to be a fun thing for Meredith. I hope their fans are patient and ready to see some good basketball in the next year or two.
No doubt. Lynchburg returns to the Turner Gymnasium Wednesday, December 3rd against Hollins, a 7 p.m. start time. Hope you'll join us there. But happy holidays and big thanks to tuning in on this Sunday afternoon. Big thanks to our entire our LHSN crew for coming in early and handling business. Lynchburg did so as well. A 16-point victory, 78-62 in the Hills City. On behalf of my partner Kyle Haney, I'm Evan Gates saying so long from the Hills City.